Salutations, bronies! Persian Poetess here, breaking tradition and appearing in the flesh for a change. My apologies to all of you expecting to see this pretty pony. I was in the swing of Babscon fever this past weekend and hung out with colleagues who are just as doggedly obsessed about ponies as I am. I promise you that my mare will return with a vengeance. Hopefully not 8 months from now. Alright, now that that's out of the way, let's get to discussing this episode. The premiere opens up with what appears to be the main six assuming the role of ponies of the round table. Even if you're coming into all of this blind, I think that it's safe to assume at this point this is going to be a very quest and adventure-oriented season. Now I can already hear the criticism that such a decision will receive. Yes, it's true, MLP is rather delightful when it embraces slice-of-life storylines, but those of you giving such a critique are forgetting one crucial thing. This generation of MLP established from the very first episode that the main six would be the de facto saviors of Equestria, if of course we are excluding Sun Princess, Moon Princess, and Crystal Princess. Also, let's not forget that Discord's plunder seeds are still lying dormant in the ground. There are still several magical artifacts that are yet to be discovered, and there's been a strange absence of the Changeling Horde for the past 2 seasons, so I don't think pumping up the adventure element is that much of a stretch, to be honest. Moving on, our saviors of harmony enter a drab little town full of ponies straight out of the Twilight Zone. While the giant smiles etched in their faces does a great job at communicating the creepiness factor, I would argue it was the song they started singing that sealed the deal and served as a great introduction to our villain, Starlight Glimmer. In Our Town certainly isn't going to be another Apples to the Core or This Day aria, but that wasn't the point. What works about this song is how the drums incessantly beat into our heroes' heads about this town's philosophy, to the point that it's almost painful. Combining lyrics like "you can't have a nightmare if you never dream" and the visuals of the townsfolk constantly circling the main six shows how this place is at danger of getting stuck in an endless loop of conformity. No doubt by now you have seen several reviews draw comparisons to 1984 and Harrison Bergeron. I'd like to add one more book to that list, and that would be Lois Lowry's The Giver. In The Giver, citizens of the Utopia are forced to see in black and white, and must medicate themselves to suppress their emotions. I couldn't help but draw an interesting connection between this and Starlight Glimmer's equal sign magic, which caused party ponies like Pinkie Pie to show restraint the minute her natural excitable emotions came out. Speaking of restraint, the premiere as a whole was put together in a much tighter and smaller package. Now this is gonna sound strange coming from me, but somehow the scaling down of the visuals actually worked in the episode's favor. It encouraged a much more natural sounding script and one of the most cleverly written villains to date. In fact, let's take a closer look at Starlight Glimmer. Starlight's most comparable competition, Discord, also went the mind game route with the main six. However, it took his brand of over-the-top chaos magic to make it happen. Starlight, on the other hand, was more subtle with her subterfuge. Starlight using the very thing the ponies hold most dear, harmony, as a means to defeat them, is chilling to say the least. The truly scary moment, though, is when Starlight literally rips the cutie marks off of the bodies of the main six, almost attacking their identity itself. Imagine all the colors and nuances of who you are being ripped out of you, only to leave a mere shell of what you once were, with no more identity or individuality left to speak of. Perhaps the conflict is an interesting examination of the very foundations of harmony and equality in itself. After all, one would think equality would mean the embracing of one's differences, not the forced elimination of them. One 1984/Apple commercial later, and Starlight Glimmer's oppressive reign is finally overthrown. Now you would think this would be the moment that Twilight Sparkle and gang would swoop in and reclaim their marks. But nope. Double Diamond and the townsfolk continue the charge, and ultimately end up saving the day. You know, in an episode about sameness, it's a rather refreshing twist to have a different resolution for a change. I know I prefaced this review by stating that the main six are the de facto saviors of Equestria, but what better way to save Equestria than to imbue the spirit of true harmony in all those around you and inspire them to stand together? So to put it simply, I can dig it. Unfortunately, I can't in good conscience end this review without bringing up the fact that we are still in the dark about Starlight Glimmer's motivations. At least the positive of this is that we can expect to see her returning as a character in the near future. Who knows, maybe she'll be even showing up at cons attempting to sell bronies on her ideology.
I've been seeing a lot of cutie marks out in the crowd, and I'm honestly a little disappointed. So, you know what we're gonna have to do?
Yeah.
Replace them with equal signs.
And that, my friends, brings this review to a close. Hopefully the format change wasn't too jarring for most of you. I will be returning to my animated reviews sometime in the near future, but hey, sometimes if I get compelled to share my thoughts with you, I may hop on camera and say hi. Alright, I gotta go. See you folks later, and never forget that friendship is so awesome!